dive in, check out my brand new essential oil blends crafted with scalar charged crystals, now available on my website. Now, if you guys like this video, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you guys are interested in a personal session, check out my website, ReadingsWithBree.com. Let's dive into the topic for today. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back for another tarot reading today. As always, I hope you guys are doing phenomenal on this journey. We're going to be diving into a bit of a quick draw on a question that came in earlier. And this is in relations to a situation happening in Germany. Now, from the one article that I was reading here, it does talk about as many as 6 candidates from Germany's far right have died in the recent weeks ahead of a local election. And according to authorities, it's been made clear that there's no evidence of foul play in the deaths, but it also means that new ballots will have to be printed and some postal voters will also have to recast their ballots. So I wanted to see what the tarot cards had to say about this as well. I also read to, I believe, Elon Musk, who was a supporter of the far right, has also kind of spoke up about this, and an economist as well, talking about how statistically it is impossible, and it just seems like something's a little funky here. So let's dive into the tarot and see what messages are coming out when it comes to the situation happening in Germany. Now, the article I originally read when I just pulled this up was talking about 6 deaths, and now I have read there's actually been reports about a 7th here. So this one article, again, I found on X, has talked about, again, the 7th candidate has died suddenly ahead of the local elections on September 14th. So definitely follows a string of mysterious deaths plaguing the far right party. Interesting. Okay, so let's see what the tarot has to say about this. Spirit, what can you share about the overall energies with these so-called deaths in Germany? And this one too also talks about here, 4 of the deaths have no cause has been given publicly, and this was just posted yesterday. Interesting. All right, Spirit, what can you share about this overall situation happening in Germany? Now, I also wanted to pull some of our lovely oracles today. Again, these ones are my favorite. Look, we have that shadow right on the back, that shadow government. But this is one of my favorite decks, oracle decks, and I also have another one that I've had kind of stored for a while, which is also by the same, I guess we can say author here or creator, Kim Krenz, and she also has the Pocket Animal Spirit Guides. So we're going to also be playing around with these ones today. They have quite beautiful animal guides coming out on them, so I'm excited to see what Spirit has to share with us. So Spirit, when it comes to the situation with the upcoming elections in Germany also, and these deaths, or the so-called deaths, maybe this whole thing is just a bunch of noise. What can you share about this, Spirit? Okay, we have the Tear, and we have the Hunter, and we have the Vow as well, with the Eros energy here. Back of the deck is the Forest. All right. The Tear, the Hunter, the Vow. All right, Spirit, what can you share about the situation happening in Germany? We have the Moth, and there is one more. The Moth and the Snake, and crazy enough, we are in 2025, which is, guess what, a snake year. All right, back of the deck are the bees, and the bees have been kind of a spirit animal, I guess we can say, that has been coming up quite consistently. So what else can you share, Spirit? What is the over energy? Is this a coincidence? I think not, you guys, but let's see what the tarot has to say. 3 of Swords, 9 of Swords, Ace of Wands, Justice, interesting. Ooh, five of swords. This is winning at all costs, you guys. Yep. Look at that. There's the deep state. The deep state and those governments and the death card with the 5 of cups on the back. So I have to say there's quite a bit of heavy energy, and I have to say, like, based off of my perspective and what I get here, there has been like an active interference or a pursuit, because look at that hunter. We have the hunter, we have something not working out. You know, this could even be some of the deaths being kind of described as natural deaths. This is also my card of like heart attacks or having heart failure and that sort of thing. So I'm kind of curious. Again, I didn't go into the deep depths of the article, so please, you guys, let me know if you know a little bit more about the story and what's happening in Germany if you guys are out there. But when we look at this, this is definitely something like with this hunter, this winning at all costs, and it's like an active pursuit is happening. Lots of heavy energy. Look at that tear. Look at the sadness, the loss, the grief here. Now, again, in terms of this situation actually happening, I mean, it's really hard to, you know, look at the media and believe what it has to say, right? So again, as always, please use your discernment, even with tarot readings, with, you know, mediums and psychics, you guys, please tune into your heart, but especially when you're listening to the media. But when we look at this, I do think like the 3 of Swords here is a big energy of piercing. It's a piercing the veils. It's also that deception, and there's something deliberately being severed here. My 9 of Swords sometimes is a bit of that, you know, fear porn card, but at the same time, I have a lot of energy here to suggest that these deaths did happen or they were targeted from what I can see. This does not scream natural to me, you guys. This is just my perspective. I'm just reading what I get here, but especially with the hunted, winning at all costs, surrounded by the deep state and the death card as well. It's like moth to the flame. So with that Ergos, it's almost like fueling that flame, because look at the ace. The past energy is the ace of wands, sorry. And when we look at that, this is a spark of energy. This could be a campaign. This could be, again, the group of people coming together and being a catalyst when it comes to something big coming out. And guess what? If you're not, you know, seeing things the way these deep states see them, or certain corrupt governments, then they're coming for you here with this hunted card. But the thing is, they are also being hunted as well. Now, I do think a lot of this had let's say certain plays when it comes to the justice, because this is again balancing the scales, and this is showing that truth is surfacing here, okay? So I see this as, again, with that vow, it's like there is a contracted energy, and with this, it's like, again, looking at, you know, politicians, looking at the governments, media, these Kabbalistic systems, what do they do, again, to bring that vibration down? They put and spread fear. Okay, from what I can say, like, to me, this does look like it's something that is happening there. I don't get it just as like a kind of, you know, a fear-based agenda. I do think that with this, it is showing very much targeted individuals. But again, knowing that when the field is charged, you guys, with, let's say, fear and pressure, it does reflect the collective's emotions, okay? So it's a tool that is also used to, again, suppress and bring people down, because there's that winning at all costs card. And this is also the card of crime. So it does look like, from what I can say, there has been some kind of targeted energy that has been geared towards these specific people, from what I can see. Now, again, with that snake card, again, I mean, it's the big representation with this is, again, the snake shedding its skin, right? But when we look at this, this is also tied to hidden wisdom and secrecy when it comes to the looping of these power structures, right? So I do think with that death card too, these power structures are also being hunted and being removed and taken down in this, even in this now moment. So when we look at that, to me, it's a lot about intentional interference from unseen forces, but it's also that Kundalini. It is that life force that awakens. And when we look at the moth as well, it's that seeker of light. And again, like the moth, seeing the moth as like the politicians here and their energy around them, and that flame is the sense of the raw fire, the polarity when it comes to the power in Germany right now. Now, what I want to also share too is like, even though I see this as the candidates being caught in being targeted, it is deeper and there is more to it than that, because the Hierophant is a representation of these structures. And with that death card too, it is showing there is like interference when it comes to the candidates, absolutely, but it's like also a systemic energetic interference as well in terms of like what's happening here. But all in all, I have to say, to recap with this is also another, marker for the collective to stop, really pause, to sense, and to start questioning things. Because to me, this looks nothing natural, in my opinion. And I think it's kind of, it just seems kind of strange that we're having, one after another just pass away. And from what I read last time too, I think 4 of their deaths haven't even been publicly shared. And that's why I think with this 3 of Swords, there is going to be a lot of it that is going to be deemed as natural causes or heart attacks or something along the lines of that. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't believe this is a coincidence. I mean, let me know your thoughts, comments below. Now, before we wrap up, I thought we would take a few more oracles. I'm going to use my true crime deck here today and see if we can get anything else when it comes to this situation happening in Germany. Let's see, Spirit. All right, what else can you share, Spirit, when it comes to this situation with the politicians or candidates passing away within, I think 7 of them within 13 days? What can you share, Spirit? Interesting enough, we have the affair that flipped out. We have cleanup, surveillance happening, an accident, justice. You know what's really interesting? We had justice, the tarot card, right in the center before. Homicide, wooded area with the forest, and we have the neighborhood. Back of the deck, we have that male energy. So let's just do a quick overview of what's going on here. Now, with the cleanup over the actual candidates in this placement shows me an attempt to erase, an attempt to cover up. Something is being officially framed in a way that conceals the truth, okay? But we do have justice. So when we look at the justice, and also their surveillance here too, it does look like this is something that was being monitored, was being controlled. I guess we can use that scenario as well. But again, when I see this, like that justice energy does show that karmic balance, and a lot of this too is related to, again, the legal systems being invoked or manipulated here. Now, the homicide as the outcome, it's a pretty straightforward energy, you guys. And to me, this does show, some of this carries the energy of being, again, taken out, not just by natural causes. So again, I really get that. I've gotten that twice now with this energy, and it's quite strong with this, with what's coming out. Now, with the wooden area and the neighborhood, this just really screams about certain locations. And we have the affair, which is kind of interesting, the affair in the male. And how I can relate this to is like when we look at these individuals that are no longer with us, I do think that this is the potential showing that not everyone exactly exited because of the same reason. I feel like some of them had maybe certain personal entanglements here, and it was used as certain pressure points here. But I do think as well, we could be looking at certain like actual situations tied to actual locations that were triggered here as well. So yes, for big interference, you guys. I've got that again and again, and I do think this does very, very strongly point to deliberate removal in some cases here. And we have that accident made to look like an accident. So Let me know what you guys again think. I wanted to thank you guys for joining me on this mini little tarot dive on the situation. And I think a really final message that we can conclude with this whole situation, you guys, is it is right there smack dab in our face to really question, I believe, the legitimacy of these structures in the system. So it is again like a marker and a big wake-up call for those who have their eyes closed. So much love to all you guys again. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, beautiful souls, bye for now.